Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Chris Durden, your host at the Blades podcast. This is our first episode and I'm here with my guest, Shayna Boston.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's jump right into it. As you being a candidate for being mayor here, what interests you the most about being in that position?
The interest is the vision that I see of the community acting as one, united, and progressing this city forward. So that's the first thing I see, that interests me most, that, we have so much and talents and resources and the people here, and we want to, and I want to see, and I want to do so much, and I think we can do so much together. So I have a plan, a vision to help take us that way.
That's good. That's good. What do you think about it so far?
The race in itself? It's been great. I was just telling the other ladies up front that it's been a great experience, and I love the canvassing part where you get to meet people individually and answer to their questions and, kind of see, because I'm most interested in your goals, visions, and what you want to see Swainsboro to be so that we can collectively move fearlessly forward.
Right. And so in doing so, what qualities do you think makes that the most effective, or your qualities that you've done, that you have so far that have made you come this way?
Leadership is a huge thing, and I think that has to be first and foremost. And in having leadership, you have to be someone who's compassionate, someone who's empathetic, someone who can actually take the shoes off and put your feet in someone else's shoes to kind of understand where they're coming from, and integrity. Being honest and transparent about, what's really going on, even if it's not the best thing that you want to report.
Right. Even if no one wants to hear it, but if it's happening, if it's the truth, then, that's something everyone, not everyone wants to hear, something that they've been pushing to the side. It's like, let's just ignore this issue. Right. They need to hear it and face it so they can overcome that challenge.
Exactly. Right. Precisely. I think transparency is king, and I think that's one of the things that we lack, in our current administration, just being honest about what's going on. And one of the other things that I found along the trail is that people don't know who the mayor is.
Right.
They don't know who their city councilman person is. So unless you know that, you don't know how things are supposed to work. So I think an education on, understanding our government, and that's kind of how I got here.
Right.
And doing that. So, I see that, being transparent, being open and approachable, and being able to meet people where they are is so important to the role of mayor.
Yeah, being very public and open to everyone, and just doing things for the public so they know who you are and what you're doing for the city. Right.
Exactly.
Is there a specific challenge you see in the future that you're going to have to overcome, or is a main one, or do you think there's just a bunch of small ones?
There are probably a bunch of small ones. I don't want to talk in the blind because I don't know what the position is until you sit down in it and kind of see what you're dealing with. So I want to be positive about it. I want to because your words carry a lot of weight. And so I want to speak positivity over that entire situation. Of course, there are going to be bumps in the road and hurdles that you overcome. But I think, once you model a behavior as the leader and how you expect someone to speak to you, and you expect that in return. So I think once someone gets in the position and start modeling those leadership skills, modeling the behavior and how we want to do business with each other and be a citizen, will work heavily, in deterring some of those roadblocks or hurdles that we may overcome. They're coming, but we're gonna be ready for them.
Yeah, I get it. Is there, how do you think you'll be able to solve these problems? Do you have communication, or is there a strategy you have in mind to overcome the problems within the city?
One of the ones that I can speak of that I, hold dear, and it's kind of what I've just talked about also, is understanding how our government works. How I even got here is because in 7th grade, Miss Cherry Hooks, she put together a program to where we had to learn about our local government, and we had to elect our city council, and we had to elect mayor.
Within classmates?
Yep.
Oh,
and I
okay.
was mayor of 7th grade.
Okay.
And yeah, so we had a charter, we had all those things that was in place, and what that did was instill something in me, and I hope other people that, maybe not mayor at the time, but definitely I wanted to be a leader. I knew
Right.
that. I knew
Yeah.
that I could corral people together and work toward a common goal.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things, that I want to instill. So structure would be one of the main ones. Understanding the government, and then also, instruct or have a structured system for the city council people. I think that we should have quarterly town hall meetings.
Absolutely.
I think that they should designate 2 community liaisons, because we all, we're part-time work, and so we have jobs and families and things, but we need to work together as a community.
Right.
So if I had if the city council people had their ear down to the ground, they knew what was going on through their community
They're
liaisons.
involved in the city.
They're involved. Yes. They're going to know about the wins. They're going to know about the problems. They're going to know about, district situations that they can now bring to the mayor, and then we deal with them collectively. So structure and order of service, or order of how things are supposed to flow out, will not only help the city council and the mayor, but it also helps the citizens. They would clearly understand, okay, we're going to have a town hall meeting this quarter. We'll be able to speak to our representative. I know who my representative is.
Yes.
Exactly. And you involve everybody in the process. That is important.
I can see, like, some of the council members that are like, okay, well, I got to do my job, see my family, live my life. And then it's like, oh, man, we have this meeting to go to. And it's like those meetings are really important. But, if they don't involve themselves within the city and within their local government, nothing's going to change.
Right. And we don't get to complain then. That's what I've been telling people. I say, if you're not a part of the process, how can you complain about it?
Exactly.
So, not everybody can make the city council meeting that's monthly at 6 p.m. at City Hall. But if they knew there was going to be a town hall meeting in their neighborhood, in their district, that would be something that they could make, because then you work with the city council. Well, what's a good time? When are you usually off work? What days work better for you? So you're more flexible on the ground than you do, than you have when it comes to that city council meeting with everybody. So that makes you more personable, I believe, as a city council person. You begin to have relationships. I talk about relationships a lot, and that starts from the top down. So if the mayor doesn't have a good relationship with his council, how can we get stuff done? And that's what we're experiencing right now. They're not in relationship with each other. We can have different views, we can look differently, we can have different lifestyles, but when it comes to the city and its business, we need to be on one accord.
Right, because honestly, if everyone is on their own page, you can't write the book.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
You can't.
Totally agree with that.
Do you think do you have like a fear as of something going wrong if you get elected mayor? Is there like something that you are like just in the back of your mind scared of something happening?
Maybe the apocalypse.
I think a lot of people might be a little afraid of that one.
So that would be something extreme, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm a praying person. I have what I call stupid faith. So I believe, as long as I'm connected to His Word, I'm going to rely to Him. I'm not going to ever rely on my own understanding when it comes to what's the fear. I can't fear. I fear God.
Yes.
But I can't fear what man is going to do or worry about it. I have to keep moving forward, running your race, outside of just running for mayor, but your race of life. Yeah. You just have to keep moving forward, because that's how I've become successful in my businesses. It's like, hey, this obstacle may come up. This may be a disgruntled client.
You can't do anything about it.
I can't do anything about it.
There's no point in worrying about it, right?
No point.
Just let God handle it.
That's right.
I get it.
I don't get to quit.
Absolutely. Obviously, if you are mayor, you're gonna have several projects, and I know you probably have several in mind already. Do you want to talk about a few of them?
The projects that I want to take over first would definitely be that communication piece.
Oh, absolutely.
That is so important to me. I would love to establish a maybe a monthly live, where
Oh, yeah.
the mayor's office goes live, and just kind of give them a state of the city monthly.
No, that's a great idea.
I also want to do a state of the city at the end of each year, so we can talk about our accomplishments, where we're going, what's working and what's not working.
Yeah.
So communication and being transparent and visible to our citizens, because we're far too small for some of our constituents not to know who the mayor is right now, and not to know who represents them right now. So I feel like if we're able to establish those things and other ideas that I have, I also want to go how to use some of our public TV. We should be able to, because everybody's not on social media.
Yeah.
We want to hit them at the newspaper. We want to hit them on social media.
Every outlet possible.
Every outlet possible. The radio, all of them. So once we can corral the communications departments of the city, I believe that, and get on one accord, that they will see the value in it as well. So that's one of the huge projects I want to undertake. I want people to know what's going on.
Absolutely. Obviously, being in any political position, you're going to have a lot of criticism from anyone and everyone, even if they're extreme opinions or rational. How do you think you'll handle those?
Well, that's happening now.
I mean, I could go in the street right now and be like, I'm running for mayor, and I would have at least 7 people just say something negative about it immediately. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you can't read everything. Right. And because you don't want to internalize everything.
Oh, no.
At the end of the day, we're humans. Yeah. You're going to feel some type of way about some things. Some things may make you angry, but you have to keep the goal in mind. So dealing with disgruntled people, I'm already seeing it on social media that immediately when I announced, that's when it came. They began to judge me based on pictures I've I've taken or posts I've made.
Or your past and stuff. And it's like, and people don't realize that people can change, and so if you've done things in the past and like, hey, everybody look at this person did something totally awful when they were 13. Well, I was 13 and I was a kid, what I mean? Stuff like that that happens a lot, and it's it's not really fair, but people will do it, and they will continue to do stuff like that.
They will continue. It will probably get worse.
Absolutely.
When I win. It's gonna get worse, but I'm okay with that. I've been talking about before. It's part of it. It's part of the job. So if you don't have tough skin, this isn't the job for you.
Right. Absolutely. Have you seen like any definitive changes in the city in the past few years that have really stuck out to you, and is something that you want to change?
Definitive. Nothing's been changed in the last 16 years. So to improve upon that, and I've also heard she's always talking about the 63% African American population. Right. Well, as a business person, you have to follow the numbers. And if you look at the African American neighborhood versus, let's just say, the country club area, it is a stark difference.
It's really right? It's if you've gone to both, I mean, you don't have to think about the difference. You don't.
You see it.
Yeah, exactly.
And for me, that was disappointing. Over the last under the current mayor, there has been no drive or no initiatives to bring those communities back to life, because once upon a time that was the only neighbor African Americans could be in. So we had grocery stores, we had laundromats, we had our churches and this place that we loved, and you can only blame the community or the people that live there for so much. You get what I'm saying? We have to love the entire city, but right now we have part of the city that's underutilized.
Right. And I think what it I haven't done it. I haven't done my extensive research on stuff like this. But I believe in Swainsboro, segregation didn't end until like 70s, because I remember talking to older people, and they were designated areas for colored people and white people back in the 70s, and that was not that long ago. It really wasn't.
And I believe, and I could be wrong, right now the Board of Education, I know this part, that they are still under court order to integrate the school system, which was in 1959, I believe. It might be 59 or 69. Excuse me, viewers, I could be wrong, but one of those dates.
Right.
But what it said to me is that we are still segregated in our minds.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'm not trying to make this a black white issue. I'm not. I'm just telling you what the facts are, what the realities are. And for so long, you have people who are registered voters who've never voted. Yeah. But now they're voting now because they see hope, they see promise, and that starts from the top down. Well, that's because the mayor doesn't even go on that side of town to instill hope in you, to say, hey, we want to do something different. You just never know what you could be inspiring the next person to do. I know what it did for me in 7th grade, right? I didn't live over there. I didn't have the upbringing, most of them did, but I wonder what would happen if we spent just a moment inspiring somebody or saying, hey, the reality you see doesn't have to be the reality of your life. And because I don't need to say that over there in the golf court club area. They know it. You hear what I'm saying? So there's some things that I wish they would come across the street, take a look at it, and see how, if we were to ignite that 63%, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be the best thing for the entire city.
The city would literally like boom.
Literally.
Absolutely.
Literally boom.
What you said earlier about how, people haven't voted and now they are, and honestly, this whole mayoral election has put in has excited a bunch of the younger audience. I mean, that's why I'm here. It literally last year you would, if you told me I would be doing this right now, I'd be like, you're crazy. Yeah, you're not. And I'm only 19. I've only been 18 for about a year and something. And I personally did not vote in the election, or the national election last year. And that's just because I did not do my research, and I didn't want to blindly vote for anything. But this election is something I'm going to vote for, because I can see that my vote would put change in my hometown that I've lived in for 19 years. And honestly, both candidates, you and Mr. Bennett, both of you have amazing qualities that I can see. And I'm excited for whoever wins. I know the city's going to change and grow, and it's going to be a positive change. And I'm excited that after 19 years of living here, and God knows how many before I came here, that there's going to be a positive change.
And then one that I hope you be a part of.
No, absolutely.
I hope this inspires you to run for office, or even on a smaller level, corral the other 19-year-olds who don't understand. Hey, we can have a whole symposium with them. Let's talk about the things that you don't get, so you get it now and you become a part of the process. That's what I hope to ignite.
I definitely, I think that this whole election is inspiring people in many different ways, really. But that's something I'm really excited for. So let me ask you a few things about you, because I want the people in Swainsboro to know more about you, because a lot of people here see you as a mayoral candidate and not a citizen of the city. So growing up, I guess you answered it earlier. The question was, growing up, did you see yourself in this position? But I think after you said the story in 7th grade, I think that's what sparked your whole journey all the way down to here. Do you have any favorite memories, just growing up around here? When you think back to your childhood, do you have one or two memories that that brings you back?
First of all, there's no place like Swainsboro.
That's true.
And your 19 years here is different from mine, because when I grew up, we had a skating ring, we had a movie theater.
You had things to do.
We had pools, we had swimming pools. We had other church organizations that were very intricate in the youth development, whether it was fall festivals, whether it was even down to Easter. Everything was a big deal, and I felt the community gives you that virtual hug. And down to being a tiger on Friday night, down to playing in the marching band of Go. I'm a flute player and piccolo.
I play trombone.
Cool. And just the people, and we had so many good role models, and mentors who didn't necessarily call it mentorship, but when they kept nudging you to do different things in the different organization. I was a oratorical winner for the Optimist Clubs. And so many people had a vested interest in you doing well.
Right.
And so those are some of the key things that has, made me who I am. And, being in that area, we call it the hike area, where those grocery stores and the laundromat, where those Miss Marion's dry cleaners, I love seeing her come behind the door and say, hey, baby, I got you ready.
Yeah.
How much I owe you, Miss Marion? Nothing, baby.
Right.
But it was that homey feeling where you felt the nurture. And so when I went off to Atlanta to college and Columbia, this was always home. You always felt different when you came home. And so I want my child to experience those same things.
But I understand you completely when you say that Swainsboro is home. Growing up, at least in the past few years, I've always almost had a resentment for this town because I felt like it was keeping me here, like it was a prison almost. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna move out as soon as I can and stuff. And I still will eventually, because that's in my goal, because what I want to do, Swainsboro doesn't have for me, and it's not ever, I don't think it'll ever be fit for that, and that's okay. Swainsboro can't be Vegas. You know what I mean? Swainsboro can't be New York City, but Swainsboro is Swainsboro.
That's right.
And when I think about holidays and I think about family and I think about friends, this will always be my home.
Always.
Even if like I resent it so much, or if it grows, I will still come back here, and this will be my home. I will always go down to the Waffle King at 2 a.m. with my friends and hang out at the park and just laugh and talk about random things. And I think that's the magic that Swainsboro has put into hopefully all of its citizens.
I hope so too. That's that. It's hard to put into words what it feels like when I try to describe it to people.
The best word is just home.
It's home.
Yeah.
Whatever home feels like, that's what Swainsboro is.
Absolutely.
Sure.
when you think of like just the name Swainsboro, that what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Home.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Swainsboro is home, and no place like it in the world.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
Now, going off the topic of Swainsboro in itself, what is your favorite holiday and why?
Halloween.
Really? Why Halloween?
Halloween is my favorite. It's close to my birthday, which is October 29th.
Okay.
I'll be 40.
Okay.
Turning 40, but it's because I'm a visionary. I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
And on Halloween, you can be anything that you want.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, you can be a doctor, or you can be a vampire.
Yeah, you can be anything.
I'm all about the imagination. It allows you to escape. It allows you to kind of see past where you are and just dream.
Yeah.
I'm a big dreamer, big visionary. That's again why I'm sitting here today.
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of people like nowadays is having dreams and goals and visions beyond what they might even be able to do. But as long as they strive for it. Because there was a quote, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, even if you shoot for the stars, you can land on the moon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or you shoot for the moon, you fall
on
the stars.
Yeah. Basically, you'll still end up somewhere good, even if you just go just as far as you can.
Just keep going. Keep pushing yourself. And that's what I tell people all the time. That's what I'm saying out here on the trail. Hey, what do you want? I know I came here to ask you for your vote, but when's the last time somebody asked you what you wanted?
Right.
I don't care what age you are. You can always dream a new dream.
Yeah.
You can always start a new business. You can always do it. Long as we got breath in our body.
Yeah.
We got a chance.
Determination, definitely the key.
Determination is key to everything. How bad do you want it?
Exactly. And then honestly, a lot of people doubt themselves, but if you want something, I think anybody is pretty much able to do it.
I totally agree.
It's just all you need is the drive and the passion. I mean, really.
We stop ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, in today's age with like phones and social media, I mean, you can do so much, and people don't realize. You can literally.
This thing is powerful.
Yeah, you can literally make a TikTok account, post yourself doing the trends that are happening that change every few weeks or even daily. You can gain followers and then start yourself a brand. I mean, I've seen people who blow up on social media platforms with like doing, it obviously there's not a lot of thought process behind it. I mean, it's just simple. It's just literally put the phone down, hit the button, and just do like a silly dance or something. And they keep this consistency so people know what to expect on their page. And now they have a merch line, and they're making like, they charge $35 for a t-shirt, but people are buying.
And they become influencers for other brands.
Yes. And then you have the whole social media and sponsorships, and you can literally, like, there's this guy, he's doing like cooking videos on TikTok, and there's this company called Blackwater, which is literally water, the color just colored black, and it's a brand. And it is a thing, and they get sales, and he's sponsored by them and puts them in videos, and because it's there, and you're like, Blackwater, what is that? And so you look it up, and just even going on their page earns them revenue.
That's right.
And then it's this whole, it's so easy. And people underestimate the things like that.
And that's why under my nonprofit, Fearlessly Forward People of Emmanuel County, that's what I want to do. I want to start building, cultivating, nurturing our next leaders.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be through entrepreneurship, but leadership, innovation, thinking outside of the box, dreaming. We're showing them you don't have to be a genius to make money. You don't have to be a genius to take your dream or your goal to the next level. You just need to ask the questions.
Right.
And, we want to start a training and development center, career business and training development center that nurtures all of that teaches that, and then also creates an incubator that will be your first office or your first podcast room or whatever have you to cultivate and nurture those dreams. That's why we don't have enough people standing up or putting themselves out there, because they don't believe that they can.
Right. No,
I want to show you that you can. You can.
Yeah.
I want you to know that this is amazing.
Yeah.
That you started this position. You pretty much created a whole new division in the Forest Blade.
Yeah, I that's what I'm hoping to.
I already see it, and it's gonna happen. But those are the innovative steps, and the willingness to put yourself out there to see if it works.
Right.
And hey, it's okay to fail. I tell people that all the time. It is okay to fail.
No, absolutely. If you don't fail, you don't grow.
You don't grow. You don't learn anything.
And a lot of people, I think, have this idea in mind that it's not okay to fail. But what we should be pushing is that it's okay, but I think it's only okay to fail if you learn from it. Because if you fail, that's one thing. But if you don't learn from it, you're not doing anything to benefit yourself.
That's right. How are you dissing yourself off? Did you analyze what went wrong, what went right, so you can do it better the next time?
Right. I think a lot of people, nowadays, they don't put a lot of thought into things that they do. It's like, oh, well, I failed, whatever. And then they just do something else.
Let's move on. Yeah. But what you said was right. Key consistency.
Yes.
Consistency is key to anything you want to do. Anything.
Absolutely.
And as long as you know that, but you also need the support of people around you who's going to speak life into your dreams, who's going to tell you that you can do it. Right. And so that's why I think, having that portion of the nonprofit organization, pushing that out there, getting people interested in government, getting them mentorships and things of that nature that align them with their dreams will help them. And I encourage people, especially someone your age, please leave Swainsboro and come back and bring those talents and gifts back.
Absolutely. I with the whole thing that I do with video cameras and videoing and stuff, I learned that knowledge pretty much myself. And I remember the other day when I was at the debate, there was a woman there, and she was talking to me about it, and she seemed to know stuff about it. And I asked her, what did she do? And then she told me, her son wanted to do basically what I was doing. I want to go to for a film production company. My dream is to work for Marvel one day. And honestly, I think
you will.
Yeah, and I think if I keep the drive and determination and don't give up, I can do it. And but I was talking to her about her son, and he had these things in mind, and he wanted a camera and he wanted to get into it. And so what I did was there's not a lot of people in Swainsboro who know about that stuff, and I gave her my number, and I was like, if your son has any questions, I will be glad to help. And I think that's what other people should do.
Absolutely.
Even if it's not stuff like that, even if it's just like other things within the community, and that there's obviously older people or people who know more about something, right, they should instill that knowledge into the people who want to learn.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna push you further. Why not have a whole meeting, a whole symposium? Because you never know. That's just one kid, but we've got these kids nowadays who are thinking way beyond we can ever dream or imagine.
Right.
Those are the minds that need to be, nurtured by someone like you.
Yeah.
So I say, yes, you have to put something together soon that's
Right.
going to nurture that. Just do what you just said. They see this room, they might go, wow. And we're like, well, it's just walls with, but just being in that environment will do so much to their self-esteem and the belief in themselves as to what they can do. And that's what I believe. We've been holding on to what makes us successful too close to the chest.
Yeah.
We've got to share that thing.
Yeah.
We've got to be willing to be an open book.
Yeah.
And just tell the people how to do it, or how does this work. More mentors on all levels needs to happen, because even me, I have a business coach, I have mentors, I'm a forever student and a sponge. So I'm learning from you as you're talking.
Okay.
And so as long as we're open to do that, then I think the better this community will be.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree. I'm sure that you have become a role model for people in the city. But when you were growing up, did you have a role model growing up?
Absolutely. My grandfather.
Okay.
My grandfather's name was Shayna Boston, and he was the second principal to the African American school when it was segregated, and then he became the first African American assistant superintendent here in Emmanuel County.
Okay.
And from both black and white people, they'll tell you that he didn't play, but he was fair, and he believed in structure. And then my grandmother was, beautiful lady. She's also in education, and she had a way of saying things and doing things. So her humbleness also is in me as well.
Yeah.
I love my parents,
right.
but those were the ones.
Those stuck out to you. No, I understand. Yeah.
Those stuck out to me. So understanding that when I'm talking about 63%, you don't feel like she's making it a black issue. No, this is a us issue.
Right.
Because I come from, all of us are should be treated fairly.
Yeah.
And given the same opportunities. But when you come out into the world and you see it's completely separate, how do you still believe that? He instilled that stupid faith in me that, hey, Shayna, we still can do all of this together. So my grandmother, my grandfather were huge role models for me.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for your time up here. This was great. You did really well. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Of course.